Welcome back, dear ones. Thank you for being in the space with me. Today, how to naturally cope with depression and anxiety. Two big issues that I have a lot of respect for. I have a lot of respect for feelings, for people that share those feelings, that are deep in these emotions. And first of all, big hug to you guys. If you are suffering from that now or in the past, you know how deep it is, you know how fast you can tumble down that rabbit hole. And that is exactly what it is. It is a rabbit hole. It is a rabbit hole for the mind, not for the body. And it should be approached with that aspect of understanding that it is a chasm, a deep, 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 vast hole, even a cave for the human spirit to subside into, to fall down into, deep into the darkness. There's a reason why we fall deep into the darkness. The reason is, first and foremost, is that we find our inner light. This is a huge, huge, huge step in human evolution, and especially in consciousness, in the expansion of consciousness. It is necessary for the development of our human state, of our consciousness. So, even before we truly dive into those aspects, let's take a deep breath with that and empower ourselves with the knowledge, with the thought, with the understanding that depression is a natural process of human development. It is a natural process of the development of the mind and a natural process of the development or of the expansion of our own consciousness. It brings us to the point where we believe that there's nothing left, that there's nothing to cling on, nothing to hang on, no meaning to life. And that is where we find truly the I am. We find truly who we are. We find that inner light, that inner spark, that inner power. So it is actually blessed. Those are blessed process. Those are natural process. They are natural process of the mind. Again, it's of the mind. It's not of the body. It's strengthening the connection between body, mind, and soul, where we have been conditioned. The mind, our mind, has been conditioned to control the body, to restrict the body, to put a frame around our existence, to navigate from a place of safety. Those conditionings are limiting us. And the human spirit will always push us to go beyond boundaries. And boundaries equal fear. Fear equals darkness. Which means in the darkness I don't have the light to see. When I cannot see and my other senses of perceptions are dormant, as it is for us humans, we rely maybe just a bit too much on our sight. Then naturally the mind, which regulates our system, regulates the body, controls the body, the mind gets into a place of fear. Because the mind is conditioned to know and to understand, and it conditions the body to follow that. Therefore, when the mind cannot cling to something that it knows, it evokes fear upon the body. And it puts the body in a state of freeze. That is that deep anxiety. It is a false method, or it is an illusion that the mind is putting on the body. The word itself, depression, can be split into deep rest. It is when the mind doesn't understand how it can continue navigating in this reality and being afraid of making a false step, being afraid of the circumstances or of what's coming up next, because it cannot foresee what comes up next. Then it provokes the body into a deep rest, into a non-movement. And the mind conditions the body and the human spirit to stand still. And again, it comes from a place where the mind cannot use its own tentacles to understand, to grasp reality. It cannot hold anything anymore in the known reality. And that, why is that a blessing, you ask? It's because it comes from a place where the mind understands that it has been conditioned. Or rather say, when the human spirit is moving the human experience into a place where it has to navigate itself, where it has to wake up, to be awakened, and where it has to find the inner light. It is only then, under those circumstances, that we can truly start experiencing who we are, our purpose of life, and why we came on the first place, or in the first place, why we came in the first place to Earth during this time, to this place, to experience this reality. It is a gradual procession when the spirit is trying to break through the own barriers of the mind, saying to the human, you have reached the glass ceiling, you have reached your limitations. You have been staying in one place, you have been continuously repeating your life, and we cannot have that anymore, because those constraints on the human spirit, the repetition, the non-development, that is equal death for the human spirit. For consciousness constantly is unfolding and coming back together to itself. It's constantly stepping out of the one spot of the I am, constantly expanding and coming back to itself, just like the breath. Expanding, contracting. This is how the world, the universe, reality, as we understand it, is moving. It has to continuously open up and contract, grow and fold back to itself. And when the mind is constricting that, the human spirit will push for it to happen, will push the human towards its next evolutionary step. And that has to come. That is a must. One way or another, we are always on the path of expansion. We are always developing. We can see it on Earth, we can see it in nature. Always growing, always learning about itself, always becoming better, you could say, sufficient, That's the better word. Energy sufficient. We are always looking towards energy sufficient. Science does that, as well as nature. Nature always does that. You see it in every creature in nature. It always becomes sufficient. A strong survives, comes from that, becoming sufficient. So we always have to expand, or we always have to have at least the ability to expand, because we are expanding and contracting. So when we feel the consciousness of the individual reaches its limits, the glass ceiling, it will push towards unrestricting itself. It will gently nudge the human to wake up and to understand that he or she has reached the limitations, the current limitations, and it's the time to step beyond, to make that quantum leap, you could say. And that happens by, first of all, deconstruction, by releasing old belief systems. Much like your computer, there's always an upgrade, there's always an update. The old program is being replaced by a new one, a more energy sufficient one. And the hardware will follow the software. So in order to replace or upgrade or update, first there must be a deconstruct. The old system has to come to an end, or cease, on just not being fed with energy, so the new system can be applied. We take the new system and we push energy, or we move energy through the new system so it can operate this entire existence. And this is the crucial point, moving between the old system, which is still operative, right? We haven't reached a place of non-operative. It is still operating. Something has to shift it from the old way of doing to the new way of doing, from the old system, which is now less energy sufficient, than the new system, which is energy sufficient. Something has to move it from one to the next, from the old to the new. Now, if a person is aware enough to understand that and to read the signs, then he or she will consciously move himself or herself towards that. And if not, or this consciousness is gradually building itself, right? Then something from the outside has to push ourselves to that. So to say, from the outside. It is spirit that is putting a certain, or creating a certain type of manifestation, occurrence, situation, to push the human towards choosing the new system, choosing the update or the upgrade. And because the human knows to resist, human come from that place of resistance, of survival, then the human has to go through a shutdown. Not all the times, but mostly this is a part of the evolutionary state, to go through that space of depression, of shutdown, of meltdown, because the old system has to cease. There is no other way. And as we said, if a person cannot choose this consciously, then we will have to go through that shutdown, and it would look like a depression. For the human, the mind will not be able to function anymore in the way that spirit wants it to function, in order to reach the next level, in order to experience life as spirit knows that we are able to, that we are ready for, that next level of experience, in order to get there, we will have to fall into that deep dark place. We will have to release what is no longer serving us. Release that completely, so we can apply the new system, the more sufficient one, energy sufficient one. So we will go into that darkness, into a non-operative mode, because one operating system has to replace to the next. And in that place of change, there comes a place of death. It feels like death. Just like when you restart your computer after you did the upgrade or the update. That moment of restart, this is death, and this is how depression feels. Now, if you have the power and the consciousness to step beyond, then your system will feel just like a restart. It will take a few seconds. However, if you're not accustomed to that, if you are just starting your way into awareness and into awakening, then it might take longer. The more you resist, the longer it will take for the new operating system to kick in. Meaning, the longer you will be in a state or in a mode of depression. And there's no right and wrong here. There is no timeline. You construct the timeline. You decide when you're ready. And Spirit loves you so much, it will allow you to make that decision, because you are stepping into that power, into that self-empowerment. So Spirit might knock on your door from time to time while you are in a depression mode. But it will always have the greatest compassion to you, to allow you to decide when are you ready to step beyond and to start operating the new system. Meaning to step out of the depression mode. So, some practical tools to kickstart that, to help yourself move beyond the depression, start operating the new system, which is already, by the way, built in. Yeah, you download it through your consciousness. You don't have to do anything. It might come in your dream state. It might come in a moment of enlightenment, in an aha moment, which in the next moment goes away. It's there. It is already there. You are ready to start it. You are ready to use it. How? You don't know, and you don't need to know right now. You will learn as you go. But you need to be the spark, and that's the thing. And this is why we step into that big darkness, that big unknown, that cave. So the spark comes from the inside. It cannot come anymore from the outside, because you are self-sufficient. You are energy sufficient. You are self-empowering yourself. You're self-empowering yourself. So how do you consciously do it? How do you help yourself do it? You use more time to watch videos like this, videos that empower you. Not videos that put you down, not movies that put you down. You put yourself in a surrounding that empowers you. One way of doing it, or one surrounding that I usually prefer, is the company of children, which intuitively remember and know how to self-generate themselves again and again and again through experimenting, through joy, through laughter, through play and fun. Those are great teachers for us, the children, the new and next generations. Put yourself around them. Go into the next playground and see them play. They will remind you. They will remind you the spark which is in the inside. Watch an empowering video. There are many people who speak about empowerment and about consciousness outside, and your ears can navigate your system towards that. Another way is to eat fruits. Fruits which hold the power of life. Honey. I am vegetarian, yet I recommend you to eat honey. Honey has the power of the bee. The power of the bees, and the bees are mighty. They hold the power of the sun. They generate that. And honey has that potency inside of it. 1 teaspoon a day should be enough to start generating that solar plexus inside of you, that inner sun. Step more into nature. Go and sit beside the waves and the ocean. Go into a flower field. Stand under a tree. Experience the mighty of nature. It will remind you of your own true power. Those are simple tools. Most of them are for free. They don't cost money. But you will be the one that has to initiate that. That's the thing. You will be the one that will have to search for those videos online that empowers you. You will be the one that have to take yourself out of the house and put yourself in the surroundings of children, or bring yourself out into nature. You will be the one that has to do that. So take that step and do that, my friend. I encourage you. I love you. I support you on that. This is what I do. Support you on your way to enlightenment. Support you on your next upgrade of the system. And I thank you for joining me here. If you like this video, please do press the like button. It helps the channel tremendously. Share it with other people that you know that can benefit from that. And leave me a comment. That makes me feel good. Thank you.